Preparation is key. The things you'll need. A good camera. The choice of camera is up to you, of course, but I recommend purchasing a good digital SLR camera if you want to take nice night photographs. These are a great option, not only because they offer the right sort of camera settings to take good pictures, but can also be found in a wide variety of prices to suit any budget. Digital SLR cameras typically start around $150 to $200 and go all the way up to several thousand. If you are simply interested in night photography for your own personal reasons and have no intention of selling the photographs to magazines or photo sites, etc., there is no reason you should have to spend a small fortune on camera equipment. If you feel like you might want to try your hand at a more professional result, then by all means get the very best camera you can find. But for photo enthusiasts like me, who simply want to take beautiful photos to share with family and friends, there is no reason to spend thousands of dollars on a camera, unless you want to. Besides, you can always upgrade later on. With the advances in technology, there are some great choices these days. A tripod. You might feel silly about buying a tripod if you are only taking pictures for yourself. Tripod feels like something a professional photographer would have, not an amateur. Although it is technically possible to take night photos without one, you will get better, crisper, and cleaner photos if you invest in a tripod. Night photography requires longer exposure times, and keeping the camera steady is an important part of that. A tripod will keep your camera still even with shutter speeds that end up being minutes long. You can sort of cheat and use something that is naturally steady, like a chair, a window ledge, the surface of a flat rock, etc. But these options give much less flexibility, especially if you are wandering around outside looking for interesting things to shoot. Dragging a chair around in the woods with you would be much less fun than dragging a tripod, and tripods are adjustable. Tripods are also able to give you the most flexibility to get the angles you want for your pictures without having to worry about wobbling or shaking. If you decide this option is for you, avoid the very cheap kinds. You do not need to buy a professional quality tripod, but the very cheap ones are notoriously unreliable and may end up falling over with even a slight breeze, which will not only ruin your shot, but potentially break your camera and/or your lens. It's best to spend a little bit more for the extra peace of mind it will provide while you are taking your photos. Cable releases, wireless remotes, camera self-timers. These are important because they will prevent any camera shake that can and will happen by manually pressing the shutter button with your fingers. While the use of any of these is not strictly necessary, it is highly recommended. When you press the button manually, you greatly increase the chance that you will shake the camera, even if it is only a little. When that happens, the picture will most likely turn out blurry in low light or darkness. Even with the longer shutter times, you may run into problems. You may think that you can hold your camera perfectly steady for 10, 20, or even 30 seconds, but you will end up shaking, and it will change the outcome of the photo. It's up to you which one to choose. It comes down to personal preference. Wireless remotes are great because they can be fired from any position. However, keep in mind that these run on batteries, and you may find the batteries failing at an inconvenient time. If you go with a wireless remote, always make sure to bring spare batteries. My personal preference is to use a cable release because I never have to worry about the batteries failing at a bad moment. They are, however, camera specific, so make sure that you find the right one for your camera to avoid issues. Finally, self-timers are completely hands-free, and many cameras come with them built in. This prevents you from having to get extra equipment for your photographing adventures. It certainly works, but if you plan to do a lot of night photography, a cable release or wireless remote is a great investment, especially when something you are trying to shoot needs a longer shutter time than your self-timer allows for. Lenses. Depending on the quality of picture you need, you may or may not want to invest in a wide-angle lens for your night photos. Attaching lenses to your camera can give you excellent results because they allow for more light and can drastically reduce the noise level on your photos. There are a wide range of great lenses available, starting at around $100 all the way up to a few $1,000s. Proper clothing. Yes, clothing doesn't seem to be specialized equipment, but if you are heading out into the night, the temperature can fluctuate quite a lot. Take some extra clothing with you, as well as some gloves. Even a relatively warm spring or fall evening can turn rather chilly unexpectedly, though you are probably safe from having to carry extra clothing in the middle of the summer. A light source. Take along some sort of light source. This can be anything from a flashlight to your cell phone. It can save you a lot of hassle in the long run. If you drop something like your lens cap or you need to change settings, it's much easier to do what you need with light than trying to do something in the dark. Extra batteries. You always want to make sure that your camera battery is fully charged before you head out for any shoot. You also want to bring spares just in case your battery dies. Longer exposure times can run your battery out of juice fairly quickly. Also, bring spares for anything else that you have with you that may require batteries, so you don't end up with nasty surprises. A buddy. It may seem silly to many people, but bringing along another person on your shoots can be invaluable. It's easy to get caught up in trying to get the perfect picture from the perfect angle, and you may not pay close attention to your surroundings. This is not always a bad thing, but it can be dangerous at times, depending on where you are shooting. It's always good to have an extra pair of eyes and ears around to alert you to any possible threats when you are distracted. It can be anyone you want. If you are lucky enough to know a fellow photographer, invite them along and learn from each other. If you have a curious friend, take them along and show them all the mystery the night can hold. Or, if you have a significant other who is up for it, invite him or her along to share your adventure. It's great quality time and something that may bring you closer.